Photo by Matthias Hangst. Getty Images. England's marginal 2-1 victory over Tunisia, who they beat 20 years ago in the same competition, is the first time they have started with victory in a major tournament since 2006, but for long periods of the game it looked as if the World Cup nerves, all too symptomatic of the Three Lions, had crept in. Eventually Harry Kane thundered home a header to alleviate the intense pressure on a humid night in Volgograd. However, Gareth Southgate knows better than anyone there is still plenty of room for improvement. It was by no means a convincing display from England, but the relief of getting off to the all-important positive start will override any doubt over the display. But questions need to be answered. What needs to improve ahead of the next two group games? 1. Keep the early momentum going. The first 10 minutes in Volgograd were the most exciting by a long stretch. England reflected the praise around their meticulous and low-key preparations, scorching out of the traps and playing with a direct vibrancy and intent we haven't seen in far too long. Harry Kane's tap-in epitomised that, providing the just rewards for an optimistic start. But as the game wore on, especially after Tunisia were awarded a contentious spot kick, the impetus evaporated swiftly. A sluggish, lethargic second half left fans attaching the display to the England of old, and the England we have become used to in recent tournaments. The North Africans sat deeper and deeper, biding time by earning silly fouls, and suddenly the prospect of disappointment loomed over the midge-infested Volgograd arena. The latter stages of the game were a far cry from what came before, and England's lack of endeavour after such a blistering start baffled many. Southgate's men should have kept it up, but perhaps the heat and humidity of the Russian city made it difficult to do so. Nevertheless, there was a clear shift after Tunisia equalised, and if England are to progress deep in the tournament, morale and motivation needs to remain at a high. It was refreshing to see England start their World Cup in a stimulated fashion, every bit as exciting as we anticipated. However, unfortunately it only lasted the best part of a quarter of an hour. Harry Kane was on hand to get the Three Lions out of jail. But they cannot rely on a moment of late magic on every occasion. Page 2. Use your arrows to browse. A photo by Alex Morton. Getty Images. England could have been 3 or 4 up inside the early exchanges of the match. Tunisia's nerves in the infant stages of the game were there for all to see. However, the Three Lions never properly capitalised. Jesse Lingard was handed a couple of golden opportunities, but his profligacy, along with other players, almost cost England 2 points. Tunisian goalkeeper Mourez Hassan did make a couple of stunning stops before being forced off due to injury. It should not have been the case, though, and England desperately needed composure beside that of Harry Kane. The focal point Kane provides was brought into sharp focus here, and luckily his finishing acumen hauled England over the line. A true captain leading from the front, who knows the predicament the Three Lions would be in if he didn't play. The Tottenham striker proved his attacking instinct by taking both chances that fell to him. And if the likes of Lingard and Sterling had the same lethal touch, the anxiety towards the end of the match would have been non-existent. It is encouraging that England are creating the chances, an issue at both the World Cup in 2014 and Euro 2016, however tucking them away is equally important. Lingard shaved the post, as well as Sterling poking wide after being presented with a gaping goal, albeit he was ultimately adjudged offside. Tunisia lacked that sort of threat, and the gulfing class between the two nations was evident, but England were unable to press home their superiority, and that was purely down to wastefulness at the crucial moments. Use your arrows to browse.